I'm Dr. S.P. Nalawade, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Zoology, Yashwantrao Chauhan Institute of Science, Satara. Today, we will study on topic class Aves. The topic is from BSc Part 2 syllabus, paper 5th, Animal Diversity. That topic includes the general characteristics of class Aves, then aerial adaptations, inverse, external characteristics, and classification up to order. So just imagine a bird. What are the basic characteristics you see in the bird? So, okay, let's start with the general characteristics of bird. Some of the general characteristics are as follows. First one, that is, birds are bipedal, feathered, and warm-blooded animals. That is, they are able to maintain the constant body temperature. Then their forelimbs are modified into wings, and most of the birds can fly except flightless birds. So class Aves that contains about 9,000 species. Second characteristic, that is, hind limbs are adapted for perching, walking, and for swimming purpose. Next one, that is, no skin gland is present, except urophagium gland called as preen gland or oil gland, which is located at the base of the tail. And in ostrich and parrot, such type of oil glands are not present. Next one, that is, upper and lower jaws are modified into beak. So in the beak of the bird, there is no teeth. The teeth are totally absent. The beaks are adapted to many ways of feeding. For example, seed crushing beak, fruit scooping beak, then flesh tearing, nectar sipping, wood chiseling, and so on. Next characteristic, that is, legs are modified for various purposes. So in birds, there are several modifications in legs, which are, these modifications are for walking, then hooping, then grasping, as well as wading, and for swimming. So legs of birds also. Next one characteristic, that is, alimentary canal has additional chambers, and these are crop and gizzard. The crop stores and softens the food material. However, the gizzard helps in crushing and churning the food material. The cloacal aperture is also present, and the gallbladder is absent in some seed-eating birds. These seed-eating birds are called as a graminivorous birds. For example, pigeon. Next one, that is, respiration is by lung, or respiration is carried out by lung, and the lungs are spongy. Then air sacs are connected to lungs for supplementation of the respiration. The larynx in birds does not act as a voice box, but voice is produced by a special organ called as syrinx. Okay. Next one, that is, heart is 4-chambered. Sinus venosus is absent in bird, and renal portal system is also very much reduced, and red blood corpuscles, these are nucleated, and these are oval and biconvex in nature. Okay. Then next one, that is, kidneys are metanephric. Metanephric means these are well developed kidneys which drains the nitrogenous waste material into cloaca through the ureters. Okay. So urinary bladder is absent except Rhea americana. That Rhea americana is also called as a South American ostrich, and this is the only bird that has a urinary bladder. Next characteristic is brain is well developed, and than that of reptiles. Then next one, that is birds have a 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and these cranial nerves are and these cranial nerves bring information from sense organs to the brain. Okay. Next one, that is birds have a keen sense of sight but poor sense of smell. So the kiwi bird has a good sense of smell, and the pecten is present in the eyes of birds. Ear openings are present, and ear consists of three parts: external ear, middle, and the internal ear. Next one, that is endoskeleton is fully ossified. Ossified means bone. So, and the long bones, these are hollow with air cavities. Means the bones are pneumatic to reduce the weight. Then there is no bone marrow, and the skull is monocondylic. That monocondylic means the occipital condyle and occipital condyle, these are two, and rounded knobs are at the base of the skull, and which is articulated with the first vertebra. So sternum also with the median keel for the attachment of the flight muscles, and that sternum is a bone located at the central part of the chest. Okay. The next one is a female has a well developed single ovary. So to that ovary is situated at the left side with oviduct, and if the right ovary is totally absent, but if it is present, then that is vestigial, or that becomes a non-functional. Then next one, that is many birds shows a sexual dimorphism. All birds, they are oviparous. Like reptiles, birds lay the pleoidic eggs, which are macrolacethal. That is, they contain a large amount of yolk and a calcareous shell. So next characteristic, birds are most beautiful among the animals, and they show courtship, then nest building, along with parental care, migration, and territorial behavior also. So birds, they fly in the air because of various adaptations in their body. So we'll see the different flight adaptations in birds, and these are like this. These are as follows. First one, that is a spindle shaped body. So it is designed to offer a minimum resistance to wind. Okay, let me share the slide. First adaptation, that is spindle shaped body, and that spindle shaped body is designed to offer a minimum resistance to wind. Then feathers, they provides the feathers which are covered all over the body of bird, that provide a passage of air to reduce the friction. They also prevent the loss of heat and helps to maintain a constant temperature. Then third one, that is wings. The forelimbs are modified into wings, and these wings are useful during the flight. Then fourth character is beak, and besides the procurement of food, the beak is also utilized for the nest building. Then neck and head, the mobile neck and head, these are useful for feeding, then nest building, as well as offense and defense mechanism. Then flight muscles, the flight muscles which are present on the breast, these are greatly developed and which helps in a flight. Then hind limbs, They are well suited for the perching mechanism. And next one, that is endoskeleton. In most of the bones in the bird, these are pneumatic and filled with air instead of the bone marrow. And because of that, the body becomes light, and most of the bones, these are firmly fused for the um, flight mechanism. Okay. And next one, that is air sacs. These air sacs are attached to the lungs, and that serves as a reservoir of air. And these air sacs also used for the cooling, as a cooling devices in a regulation of body temperature. Then warm-bloodedness, that is ability to maintain a relatively constant internal body temperature. And as the birds are warm-blooded animals, and that characteristic or that special adaptation is necessary for the flight purpose. Okay. Then next one, that is circulatory system. A large oxygen supply is required for the rapid metabolism of the body and the warm-bloodedness, and that is done by efficient circulatory system. So next one, that is absence of urinary bladder, except Rhea americana, as we will see earlier. Except Rhea americana, urinary bladder is absent in bird, and excreta are passed out at once, and this helps in reducing the weight of the body. Then next adaptation is brain and the eyes. Brain, in birds, the brain and eyes, these are well developed, and equilibrium is maintained by a well developed cerebellum and the brain. Okay. So next one, that is single ovary. Presence of a single functional ovary, which is located at the left side of the female bird, is also leads to the reduction in weight, and that reduction in weight is essential for the flight. Next one, that is external characteristic of birds. You can see in that figure the different body parts of the bird, and these birds are bipedal, feathered, as we have studied it earlier. That birds are bipedal, feathered animals, and body is divisible into head, neck, trunk, and tail. Head has a beak and patch of fleshy skin also. Then ear holes, nostrils, eyes are present along with the neck, and that neck may be small or it may be long. The trunk is divisible into thorax and the abdomen. In the thorax, forelimbs are modified into wings, and abdomen bears hind limbs. Then these hind limbs are long, stout, and that hind limbs bears three or rarely two toes. Okay, so that toes bears a claws, and birds, they have a scales on their legs. The abdomen possesses a cloacal aperture posteriorly, and the urophagium gland, it is urophagium, or it is called as a tail. It is usually short, and urophageal gland or oil gland, it is generally present on the dorsal surface of the tail. The next important point is classification of class Aves, and that class is divided into two subclasses. Subclass 1 is Archaeornithis, and second class is Neornithis. In that first subclass, Archaeornithis, and Archaeos means ancient, and Ornithos means bird, means ancient bird, and that subclass includes the most primitive birds which were found in a Jurassic period, and all of these were known from the Germany. Okay, so the wings had a primitive feathers, and the tail feathers were arranged in a rows along each side of the long tail. Okay, so the birds which are included in this subclass, in that the tail was long and slender with 21 separate vertebrae. Okay, and the forelimbs were modified into the wings. Okay, then carpels and metacarpels, these were free, and the hand shows the 3 clawed digits. Then beak is well developed, and 13 pairs of conical socketed teeth were present in a upper jaw, and 3 pairs of similar teeth, these are present in a lower jaw. Okay, then next, that is skull had a round cranium and single occipital condyle is present. Then zygomatic arch, that zygomatic arch means a bone which is extending from the side of the skull, and that was a fairly developed. Then parietals were completely fused. That parietal means the wall of the cavity, and that were completely fused, and interparietal foramen was also absent. Then interorbital septum, that was slightly developed, and that interorbital septum means it is a vertical sheet of the skeletal material, and which is present in between the orbit. That was slightly developed, and the orbit was provided with the sclerotic ossicles, and that sclerotic ossicles means the ring bones which are found in the eyes. Then the quadrates means the bone in which the jaws articulates were small, and the mandibles mandibles means jaw bones. These that was a complex skeletal structure. Then the vertebrae which were present in that birds, that were amphicylous. Amphicylous means these are biconcave. Then thoracic ribs, these are without uncinate processes, means hooked processes. And the pectoral girdle has a rudimentary, then T-shaped interclavicle, and narrow curved scapula is present. Then next one, that is pelvic girdle. That was a large and plate-like, and having a pre and the post acetabular region. Means these are with convex surfaces of pelvis. Then tibia and fibula, these are the leg bones, and these were separate, and these were of equal length, and each foot of the bird, that was made up of the 4 digit. So small opposable hallux. Hallux means it is a digit which is present on a foot, and that resembles that it is of a modern bird. That resemblance is that of the modern birds. Then these fossil birds had a long, slender, and smooth cerebral hemisphere, and that smooth that subclass means a class Archaeornithis, that includes only a single species, that is Archaeopteryx lithographica. So this is the picture of Archaeopteryx lithographica, and it is a ancient bird which was found in a Jurassic period. And that Archaeopteryx bird, it is a connecting link between the reptiles and birds. So it shows a feature of both birds and reptiles, and that gives the evidence that the birds have evolved from the reptiles. The Archaeopteryx exhibits both reptilian as well as bird-like characteristics. So in that, the few avian characteristic or the characteristics which are found in the bird, that Archaeopteryx bird, it possesses feathers, and that presence of feathers, it is an exclusively avian character. It had a rounded cranium with fused bones, then jaws are modified into beaks and forelimbs are modified into wings. These are the avian characteristics. Then that Archaeopteryx it also shows reptilian characteristics, and that reptilian characteristic is that bird bears a teeth in their jaw and claws present on the fingers. It also had a long tail with free caudal vertebrae and bears tail feathers. These are the characteristics of bird and reptiles in Archaeopteryx lithographica. So next one, second subclass is Neornithis, and in that Neos means modern, and the birds in this subclass were found in a Cretaceous period, and this subclass includes the fossils as well as the living birds also. The characteristics of the birds which are found in this subclass, these are as follows. So in that first characteristics, in most of these birds, the short tail is present, and that short tail has a terminal pygostyle. Pygostyle means these are the fused caudal vertebrae and with a semicircularly arranged feathers. Then another characteristic, in most of the main members, teeth are absent. Then carpels, metacarpels that unite to form a carpometacarpus. And the well-developed sternum is present where the powerful flight muscles are attached. So that specific subclass or class Neornithis, that includes the modern as well as the extinct bird in which the teeth are absent and the tail is very short. And the examples of the birds which are found in this subclass, these are kingfisher, then penguin, duck, then great horn owl, then flamingo, then hawks, hornbills, then boyarbird, then woodpecker, and another one that is Darwin finches. And that bird was a pigeon-like bird, and that became extinct during 17th century in Mauritius. So Darwin finches were a group of birds which live only on a Galapagos island, except one species which is found only on a Cocos Island. So all these Darwin finches were named after the naturalist Charles Darwin, and who visited that island during 1835. So each finch bird has a different shape of bill to suit its method of feeding. So Darwin's observations on these birds were an important influence in helping him to draw up his theory of evolution. So this is the picture of Darwin finches, in which we can see the different shapes of beaks according to their feeding habits. These are the pictures of Darwin finches. Next slide. That subclass Neornithis includes two superorders. In that first one is superorder Odontognathi and superorder Neognathi. So superorder Odontognathi, in that odontos means teeth and gnathos means jaws. The teeth are present in the jaws. The birds which are included in this superorder, that the teeth are present in the jaws. So all these birds are found in a Cretaceous period, and it includes the fossil birds during the Cretaceous period. So the characteristics of the birds which are present or included in this superorder Odontognathi, these are all the members or all the birds present in that superorder were flightless and adapted for the aquatic life. Then all these birds were provided with teeth. Then brain was more like a modern birds than the reptiles, and pectoral girdle was much reduced, and clavicles were also not united, and bones of the pelvic girdle were free posteriorly. Then forelimbs, these are represented by humerus, and the hind limbs, these are also strongly built, but laterally directed feet are present in that bird, and these feet having a webbed toes. Then presence of a short tail is an important character, and that subclass includes 4 different types of birds. These are Haspiornis, then Baptornis, Niornis, and the Ichthyornis. Let's see some of the characteristic of that birds. That Haspiornis, that is the meaning of that bird is a western bird, and it is a genus of cormorant-like bird. And the size of that bird is very large and reaching up to the 1.8 meters, and wings are not present to that bird, and that bird swim with its powerful hind legs. Then see, these are the pictures of that birds, 4 birds which are included in this subclass. Then second example, Ichthyornis, and that bird is called as a fish bird, and it is named after the as the fish-like vertebrae are present in the body of that bird, and that bird is an extinct genus from the late Cretaceous period. The average size of that bird was 24 centimeters, and it is like a pigeon, and the wingspan is about 9.4 centimeters in length. Then another one bird is Baptornis and Neogarnis. So these 2 birds are called as a diving bird, and it is a genus of flightless aquatic bird. The length of that bird or size of that bird was 1 meter. So these are the examples of the birds which are present in that superorder Neognathis. Next. second superorder, Neognathae, and Neos means modern. So modern birds are included in this superorder, and the characteristics of birds which are included in this superorder, these are first one, that is slender boomer that separates the palatine. In that, the boomer means the facial bones, and because of that palatine, because of that boomer, the palatines, that jaw, these are the jaw bones, and that becomes a separate from each other. Then these palatines, these are protruded posteriorly, so and these are at the base of the cranium, and that is movably, these are articulated with the pterygoids. And next character, that is reduced pectoral girdle, and no sternal keel is present, and in this superorder, most of the flightless birds such as ostrich, then kiwi, and cassowary, these are the birds which are included in this superorder. So that superorder includes the various orders, and students will stop here. In next lecture, we will see the next orders which are included in this superorder. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe.